Every year, countless outlets put out how well they think each team will do before the season begins. These predictions come from both algorithms and just plain analysis by writers. Despite the great lengths that we go to in order to get the most accurate projections we can, baseball has proved time and time again that no matter how hard we try, we cannot predict a sport that has so many variables that go into a team's success. Take the sport's most recent champion, the Atlanta Braves. They won the World Series despite a mere 88-win season and a terrible first-half performance. The Braves were written off in every postseason round that they played in, but at the end of it all, they managed to come out on top despite missing several key contributors. Baseball is a sport where the best team does not always win, nor does the team that wins the most games during the season. Just ask the 2021 San Francisco Giants, who won 107 games but lost to the 106-win Dodgers, who then lost to the season's champion, the 88-win Atlanta Braves. But for today, let's just look at predictions when it comes to the final standings at the end of the year, those that predict both win totals and where each team will finish in the division. This video has been sponsored by SeatGeek. Predicting baseball is difficult, but what isn't difficult is getting $20 off tickets at SeatGeek with promo code EXE. SeatGeek is a ticketing app that makes buying tickets super easy. The mobile app makes getting tickets to baseball games, concerts, festivals, and more super simple by taking tickets from all over the internet and putting them in one place. When I catch a game this summer, I'll be sure to use the coloring system to find a good deal. Green is a good one, red is a bad one. To make things even easier, I've got the hookup. Use code EXE for $20 off tickets at SeatGeek. That's $20 off your first purchase with promo code EXE. Make sure to click the link in the description to download the app. One of the most widely used projection algorithms is PECOTA, which stands for Player Empirical Comparison and Optimization Test Algorithm. It was developed by Nate Silver, a statistician, writer, and poker player. He is the founder of 538 and ran the projections from 2003 to 2009 before handing things over to Baseball Prospectus. PECOTA is widely regarded as one of the most accurate predictors in the industry, but today we're going to put that to the test, at least in terms of how well it projects a team's record prior to each season. Today we'll be looking at the yearly preseason projections that it puts out for a team's record, along with the divisional predictions. How accurate is the algorithm and how much does it get right each year? For this video, I've compiled the PECOTA projections from the last 5 full seasons, which does not include 2020, a year where players opted out, players missed time due to COVID, and a 60-game sprint is not comparable to a 162-game marathon. So we'll be looking at the preseason standings from 2021 to 2016. I used a few criteria when evaluating, the first being simply the order that the teams finished in for each division. Second, I looked at the predicted win totals of each team and compared that to the final actual total. If the number of wins was within 5 of the predicted, I considered that a success. Finally, I looked at the predicted division winner, regardless of win total, to see if that was at least something we could rely on in the projections. Starting with 2021, let's get to the results. This past season saw several massive surprises in terms of where certain teams finished, from the surprise success of the Giants, the dominance shown by the Rays, and the failures of teams like the Twins, Padres, and Mets. In terms of the criteria defined earlier, this season was the worst of the 5 we will look at in terms of what PECOTA predicted before the year. In the American League, PECOTA got 6 out of the 15 teams correct in terms of the division place, and just 3 out of 15 teams within 5 wins of their projected total. They got 1 of the division winners correct in both the AL and NL. Only 2 of the 15 teams in the NL were in line in terms of the division place per PECOTA, and just 5 out of 15 were within 5 wins of their predicted record. For the league totals, PECOTA's divisional place and win total predictions were just 27% accurate, and out of the 6 division winners, only 2 were correctly predicted. As mentioned earlier, this season saw several surprises in terms of team success and failure, which could explain the extremely low accuracy of the preseason numbers. Was this season an outlier or closer to the norm? Let's continue. This season saw the turnaround of several franchises, along with the continued dominance from teams that were expected to run away with their respective divisions. In the American League, PECOTA predicted 2 out of the 3 division winners correctly, but the success stops there. Just 5 out of 15 division places were predicted correctly, and only 3 out of 15 teams had their win totals within 5 of what PECOTA projected. Some culprits of this low accuracy were teams like the Twins, A's, and Tigers, who all greatly outperformed or underperformed their predicted win numbers. The National League saw more success, with 7 out of 15 division places being correct, and 10 out of 15 teams having within 5 wins of their projected total. The league totals from this season saw a 40% accuracy in terms of the division places and a 43% accuracy in terms of the win total projections. 3 out of the 6 division winners were predicted correctly, 2 in the AL and 1 in the NL. PECOTA's accuracy was higher this season than in 2021, so let's see if this trend continues into the next season. This year was one of the most even across the board for PECOTA's projections. 2 out of 3 division winners were correct in the American League, and 8 out of 15 teams had their divisional places predicted accurately. Only 6 out of 15 teams had their win totals within 5 of PECOTA's, mainly due to the Red Sox, Rays, A's, and Orioles being much better or worse than expected. In the National League, 5 out of 15 divisional places were correct, 8 out of 15 teams had their win totals within 5, and 1 out of the 3 division winners were predicted correctly. The league totals for this season were all around 50%, with the divisional places predicted with a 43% accuracy, win totals predicted at 47%, and 3 out of the 6 division winners predicted correctly. We have 2 seasons left, so let's keep moving. This season saw the best results when it came to the accuracy of divisional winners, with 5 out of the 6 being predicted correctly. The one miss was the NL East, where the Mets were predicted to finish 1 game in front of the Nationals, who ended up winning the division. This success did not carry over into the other categories, as in the American League only 6 out of 15 teams finished in their predicted places, and only 5 out of 15 had their records within 5 of PECOTA. The National League had 5 out of 15 teams correct in both standings position and win totals. This brings the league totals to 37% accuracy in the division standings and a 33% accuracy for the win totals. Let's take a look at our final season, and then we'll get to our final numbers. This season had the best results when it came to predicting win totals for each team. In the American League, just 6 out of the 15 teams were correct in their standings position, but 9 out of 15 were correct in their win totals. Just 1 division winner was predicted correctly, while 2 out of the 3 were correct in the National League. In the NL, 6 out of 15 teams had their standings position correct, and 9 out of 15 had their win total within 5 of PECOTA. The league totals for 2016 was a 40% accuracy for divisional position and a 60% accuracy in win totals, the best mark of any year so far. Half of the 6 division winners were correctly picked by PECOTA. With all the data now collected for the 5 seasons we are looking at, we now have a general idea of how PECOTA performs in their projections. After looking at each season, here are the final overall statistics, along with a few interesting points. Over the span of the 5 seasons, PECOTA correctly predicted a team's divisional place about 37% of the time, getting 56 out of the 150 teams correct. The win total predictions were slightly more accurate, as about 42% of teams had their win totals within 5 games of what PECOTA predicted, or 63 out of the 150. The projections for divisional winners were the most accurate, with PECOTA being correct 53% of the time, getting 16 out of the 30 winners correct over those 5 seasons. The most accurate season when it came to predicting division winners was 2017, when 5 out of the 6 were correctly picked. In terms of win totals, PECOTA's best season was 2016, when they correctly predicted 18 out of the 30 teams. When it came to placing teams in the correct order in each division, 2018 was the most accurate year with 13 out of the 30 teams being correct. PECOTA's most accurate picks over these years were the 2016 Braves, the 2016 Giants, the 2017 Marlins, the 2018 Cubs, the 2019 Cubs and Brewers, and the 2021 Pirates. The biggest misses came in the form of the 2016 Rays, who had a 23-game difference, the 2017 Giants, a 24-game difference, the 2018 Orioles, a 23-game difference, the 2018 A's, a 21-game difference, and the 2 biggest misses came out of the NL West last season, with the Diamondbacks and their 27-game difference, and the Giants with their 32-game difference. Plenty of teams not mentioned had 20-game differences from their projected to actual win totals. Some of these you could argue aren't true misses, such as the 2018 Orioles that were picked to finish last with a terrible record, but finished well below the projected number. Some are a result of other teams in their division, again like the 2018 Orioles who shared the AL East with the 108-win Red Sox and the 100-win Yankees, and the 2021 Diamondbacks who got to play the 107-win Giants as much as anybody. But for the sake of looking at just pure numbers, these are statistically the biggest misses that PECOTA has put out. There are positives throughout these seasons, with plenty of teams making it to within 1 of their projected win totals, and 7 teams that were predicted exactly right. When looking at the overall divisions and predicting team position, the NL Central was predicted with a 52% accuracy, the AL East and AL West at 44%, the AL Central at 36%, and the NL East and NL West both at 24%. 2021 was the worst season for these last two divisions, as no teams finished where they were predicted to. No season has had a division where all 5 teams finished where Pagoda predicted them to be, but the NL Central has consistently had 2 to 3 out of the 5 teams in their correct spots. When looking at the overall leagues, the American League divisions have been predicted to a 41% accuracy, with the best season being 2018 at 8 out of the 15 teams, and the worst being 2019 at 5 out of the 15 teams. The National League has been predicted with a 33% accuracy, with the best season being 2019 at 7 out of the 15 teams, and the worst being 2021 at just 2 out of the 15 teams finishing where they were predicted to. It's safe to say that these numbers are not something that can be relied on. To answer the question of if we can truly predict a team's season, I think it is an unsurprising no. At least in terms of Pagoda, the 42% accuracy of team records is not accurate enough to put much stock into preseason projections, and the 37% divisional accuracy is even worse. The coin flip is in the division winners, as Pagoda has had a 53% accuracy over the past 5 full seasons. You could argue that this aspect is the easiest to predict, because if you look back at the division winners of the past 5 to 10 years, you can very much see a pattern where one team wins several years in a row before a new team takes over. Teams like the Astros, Dodgers, and Braves have shown us this in recent years. So baseball truly is a toss-up, and as much as experts put out preseason projections and calculations, there are simply too many variables that come about in the sport to put much stock into them, despite how accurate they may seem before the season starts. Injuries, underperformance, and surprise teams may break everything we may think before the year once the games start being played. If the Giants and Braves of last year have taught us anything, it's that regular season success does not lead to winning a championship, which is what the game is truly all about in the end.